Don't worry, this is not a car episode. Only the first 4 minutes were recorded in a car. It gets back to normal studio recording right after the theme. Thanks.
We're trying an experiment today. We are on the road on the way to a very important Wrestle Kingdom-related store mission. So we have, obviously, always have a podcast to record. And now that we use these fancy lavalier microphones to record, we thought, we've tried it in the car before and it doesn't necessarily work. However, now that we use Cleanvoice, who is not paying for this mention, I want to see if they can clean up the background of a car recording.
Yeah, the little rumbles and ambient noise.
We'll see if they can. And most importantly for this episode, they will, if you ask, spit out a transcript. So the main reason we are recording right now is because I have a piece that is due for Publishers Weekly tomorrow, and I haven't started it. And I thought the best way these things get done is when we brainstorm.
Right.
And hopefully, much later tonight, I'll have the chance to edit it because I will just print out the transcript.
Sure.
And massage that.
Sure.
As opposed to having to transcribe it myself.
Right, of course.
And then I thought, well, if we can hopefully get a podcast out of this as well, because time is at a premium this week.
Yeah.
And we're most likely losing, I'm losing editing time, whatnot.
Sure.
And we're losing recording time by being in the car for about 2 hours today.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I wanted that spot.
Oh, no.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
we can knock this out, but also this is me driving and talking.
Changing lanes, and it's a little distracting.
Yeah. We still have one more lane to go.
But I want to live, so I'm okay with you being distracted.
Sure. But that means whenever I have to pay attention, you need to fill.
It's true, but
With wonderful anecdotes.
Yeah.
And just A-plus material.
A+. That's what I bring. A+ material. It would be helpful if we were on a topic at some point that I could riff on and talk about. Instead, we're still in the kind of prelude build-up process of getting to what the topic is now that this Toyota Highlander has finally changed lanes.
Isn't that our topic? Toyota Highlanders? Toyota Highlanders. So, the Publishers Weekly piece is very broad-based and open-ended.
Vague is the way I would have explained what you told me.
It doesn't have a specific, like when I've done stuff for Publishers Weekly before, it was usually answering specific questions about a topic for the year or a series
the industry
of topics.
or sales or a company or, market demographic, that sort of stuff.
This is just based off of 4 words. And Dal, those words are?
Community outreach and fan-based cultivation.
Oh, 5 words. I forgot base. And when it was brought to me, I jokingly said, I'll be happy to write something if I ever figure out either of those topics.
Yeah, community outreach is definitely something that's been a pretty big topic for comic shops for a little while, certainly as the pandemic wound down, and the ability to have huge groups of people in your store was not only exciting, but looked like. So there you go, use that.
In the Midwest, the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. I still approve, fan and artist and creator too. What? This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard and it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower.
Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal.
Dal. Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
Well, that certainly didn't go as planned. It turns out that we recorded for, a solid 50 minutes.
Yeah, almost an hour.
And got 4 minutes out of it.
Oh, God, it felt so bad. So bad to find out that all of that coverage was gone. I had not recorded.
Hadn't recorded at all.
Oh, my God.
The key sign was that when I went to pick my phone back up, because, it's not like the old days recording in the car where you have to hold it up and be near both of us speaking. No, we have microphones.
No, microphones.
Makes it easier.
Yeah, super simple.
And Cleanvoice cleaned it up pretty well.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it sounds now where we're, talking next to each other.
Not in the car.
But it sounded more like it was a call-in thing.
Okay.
It sounded the way I sounded on off-panel.
Okay.
Because I was
calling in.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we were both digital. But David was recording at his computer and I was recording off of my phone because it was Zoom. And it would have been a better setup if I was at a mic computer, but I need the mobility.
Sure.
I need to move.
Sure.
I'm a man of action.
It's true. Everyone's saying it.
What happens when I'm sedentary, Dal?
Patrick, you fall asleep.
So, gotta keep swimming.
Yep.
Like a shark.
Like a shark.
Constantly sharking.
That shark smells water.
So when I picked the phone up and it was turned off, it was just a black screen. Like, that's bad. Usually it's counting down as a timer. And when I opened the phone, it was still right there. And then I hit a button to stop it. And that's when I saw, oh no, I just turned it back on.
Uh-oh.
So I'm guessing what has happened is as I went to lower it, because it's a giant red button in the middle of the phone. Okay, it's down at the bottom of the phone.
Bottom third, yeah.
And as I was putting it in the cup holder, I must have stopped recording.
Oh no.
Yeah. I can't even blame technology. It was probably just me.
Probably human error.
Because as I was putting it down while I was driving, I was still focused on the road. I wasn't looking at it.
Yeah.
So I guess you should have done it. You should have.
I offered to on the second half of the drive, but by that point I think you were like, I don't want to do this again today.
Ooh, you immediately said, I don't have another one of these in me.
I mean, like at that moment.
Right. Sure. Yeah. And we had more than enough time to record getting back in the city because there was an accident that slowed everything down.
Yep.
But more than that, we did spend the majority of the time answering the question. It wasn't a question, but
discussing the topic.
And neither of us feels like trying to rehash that now, especially since the article deadline was today.
Oh no. Yeah.
And I turned in nothing.
I don't think that we had anything too
groundbreaking,
illuminative to talk about. For the most part, it was just us talking about how we don't know what kind of community engagement works the best. And most of the stuff we've tried doesn't work. And we don't know why it doesn't work. And we don't know what should happen instead. One of the things that we talk about internally a lot is that we can't do any event twice. The first time, if it goes amazingly well, the second time is almost guaranteed to underperform. So much so that if we even try doing a third one, it's a colossal failure. So there's very little that we've ever been able to do as a community engagement sort of thing on a recurring basis. Things like sales and stuff, fine, sure. They go up and down depending on a lot of different variables, but I don't think we've really had a sale that's cost us money. But there's been plenty of events and community engagement things where it costs us time and money if the turnout is not sufficient. And yeah, so we've done things where it's like, oh, we'll do a Halloween party, we'll do a New Year's Eve party. And then year two is like, oh God, this was a huge waste of time. No one cared.
Especially for the New Year's Eve party. We're like, oh, here's things we can do to make it better and more valuable for the people that show up.
Yeah, plus it up.
Oh, and we didn't have enough people to make that plussing up worthwhile.
Nope. Yeah, I remember us talking about how we tried to, in 2024, maybe 2023, I can't remember which one.
Not 2025 is all I'm hearing.
We tried to do, we did the Andrew McLean signing coinciding with the Halloween party.
Yeah, that's 2023.
And immediately realized that was a huge mistake. We should have just done the Andrew McLean signing and left it at that. And the crowds did not intersect at all.
No.
And the Halloween aspect no one cared about. And it's like, oh, this was all of the stuff that we did for this. We should have just done like an afternoon signing for Andy McLean, and he probably would have had a better turnout.
You know, it's not lost on me that we're talking all about this on the eve of what we hope to be a big signing.
I hope so.
And while this is apples to oranges, we are repeating a setup that we've done once before.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a big deal.
Right. It's also not the same thing.
No, and it's not this like the selling point of the event.
Right.
It's not the thing that's getting people to show up is how we arranged it.
And nor was it the first time either.
No. So, I mean, that stuff, you know, there's logistical things that we can absolutely do and repeat, and that helps us a lot because it makes things more efficient and we understand how to set it up and tear it down better. But yeah, it's the kind of diminishing returns of like trying to do any community engagement stuff above and beyond talking to people at the counter that just, we have never, in almost 17 years, we've never figured out the formula for it.
No.
So yeah, our contributions to an article would largely be us going, I don't know.
You tell us. We're very interested to hear your thoughts on this matter.
Yeah.
What do you think works?
Which maybe that would be helpful information to the person writing the article, but it didn't feel like it would be.
What do you think works? And let me tell you why they don't.
Yeah, I think the thing we circled around a lot was just the concept of like, it's so different from community to community, and the patrons of your store will tell you either verbally or through their actions what they want you to do as far as outreach is concerned. So there's no template. Like we tried over the years looking at what other stores were doing and trying to emulate that, and
stealing it. I'm sorry, emulating
all right, stealing it. And it immediately didn't work for us. I think in general, there's kind of like a life cycle to how stores do these things, where I think in the first 3 or 4 years of being open, maybe 5 years, you're absolutely going to try everything. You need to build your client base. You need to reach out to more people. You need to get your name out there. You need to establish yourself in the community. And in doing that, you will try a lot of different things. And I think the weird thing is in the first 5 years, that shit mostly will work because where you're starting from is so low that inevitably you're going to pull in a few extra people because your customer base is not huge. But then when you get into like years 5 through 10, you start to realize like this stuff is not growing your customer base like you want it to anymore because you've started to reach like a more mature business. You're not going to see the kind of year on year growth that you saw in the first 5 years, dollar amount or customer base wise in years 5 to 10 because you already kind of accumulated all that. You'll see percentage increases, but it's going to be like single digits. And when you get into years like 10 through 15, maybe you revisit some of that stuff and see if like the stuff that you did in the early years that the people in the middle years never saw maybe could be worthwhile now. But then again, a lot of that stuff you've done, that stuff was all like booster rocket stuff. You did that stuff, you're in orbit. It can't boost you anymore. All it can do is eat up fuel.
It is an interesting concept to think of the things that we did in the beginning that the majority of our customers who are with us now weren't part of.
Sure.
Like, how would they respond to it?
Sure.
But we don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, I don't think we have any sort of like huge nostalgia for a lot of those projects where we think we could do them better or want to recapture some of that. That shit was all a lot of work. And we're doing a lot of different work now.
Oftentimes I go through Facebook memories.
I know.
But one of the things I forget is that
that's what the memories are
the
for.
store has them as well.
Oh, yeah?
It's just that the store page, it's never a notification.
Oh.
But if I'm logged in to my personal account and I'm on the memories and I switch to the store account, it'll switch to store memories.
Oh, cool.
Right? So I rarely ever see them.
Sure.
But it happened today.
Oh, okay. Neat.
And 2 things stood out. Specifically, 10 years ago today, we had an Amber Benson signing.
Oh, nice.
And Gina was looking at the pictures and said, it's always amazing for me to look back and see how different the store is now than it was then. And I said, yeah, except look at that picture. I'm literally wearing that exact shirt right now.
Wow.
I was wearing the exact same dress shirt 10 years ago today.
Okay.
And first of all, it's held up great. It's in great shape.
10 years. It's amazing.
Right. Second of all, for the first
era of the store, if you will,
Mhm.
my style, again, if you will, is completely different to what it is now.
Okay.
And I was only wearing like solid red shirts every day.
Okay. Sure.
And now I don't have any solid red shirts.
Sure.
They're also real hard to come by. And you can't just find red. It's all like salmon or coral.
I look around.
Like, it's hard for me.
I understand.
We shop at different places, Dal.
We do indeed.
And also, my biggest thing is I do not like sleeves.
I know. It's true.
And all of your red shirts are long sleeve.
It's true.
I bet you couldn't find them as easily in short sleeves.
You're probably right. I've never looked. I'm curious.
Wait, let me finish this thought.
Sure.
And so, like, that era is long gone.
Yeah.
The open vests, the very specific pants I always wore,
Okay.
like that. It's a whole different era.
Patrick stopped wearing pants. I don't know if anybody knows.
And Patrick always wears
2025
jeans
is
now.
no pants.
Not slacks. I always wear jeans.
At
It's
work, no
been
pants. At home, pants. Sure.
been,
When he goes out, pants. Absolutely. At the store, no pants.
a couple of years of just jeans, but not blue jeans
I understand.
or dark blue.
Totally
Because jeans
understand.
are dark blue. But the fact that it's been over 10 years and the only time a shirt goes away is when it wears itself out or has an accident.
Sure.
Shirts can fall downstairs, things can happen.
Sure. Who
But
knows what
I honestly
happens?
I could not fathom that there are like those shirts that I've been wearing regularly for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, I do have some dress shirts that I have had for well over 20 years and recently dusted those off and was wearing some of those.
Literally
I'm
dusted
like,
them off.
Yeah, literally. They get dust in a closet. It's funny. But they're all like Target bought pastel solids.
Oh, okay. Pastel. Wow.
Yeah. So I rarely wear those. But like the Publisher's Weekly article from 2 years ago, I was in a purple one for that. So there are exceptions. But yeah, I just think like, I've been dressing kind of this way for 10 years.
So getting back to what you're kind of mentioning in passing about eras of the store, I'm curious how you would break the store down into eras. Like for me, the first era is opening through Rogues Gallery.
Oh no, you've already missed the entire Dal White era.
Oh no, I don't mean my personal fashion.
Those are my eras.
That was like year 2. I mean,
Right.
that was I don't count that. I'm specifically talking about the store.
I've never thought of it in that in that
to
regard.
me, I would break it down opening to Rogues Gallery.
So basically, opening to hole in the wall expansion.
Yeah, hole in the wall. Then
Did you just say our store is a hole in the wall?
I've mentioned, oh my God, so many times I've said it. And then I don't know that I would break out Rogues Gallery and then Sidekicks into their own separate things, although maybe.
I would.
And then like basically Sidekicks to Pandemic. Then Pandemic is its era, and then we're in like the post-pandemic era. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're in the 5th era.
Okay. This era is called the Shopify era.
Okay, I like that. That's
Yeah.
good. Could be the Managed Comics era, but I guess not.
Well, we were doing Shopify before Managed Comics.
It's true. We were doing Shopify during the pandemic.
Right. So got to the pandemic.
Right.
I guess the pandemic era could just be a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the pandemic era basically the same size as the Rogues Gallery era, where they
It's
are
funny.
distinct and yet at the same time they're very short relative to other ones.
You didn't mention the blue era.
No, I really didn't, did I?
No.
No.
So get this.
Era.
In the error.
Season.
The blue error.
At the blue season.
I was going through stuff in the back boxes,
Okay.
looking for stuff specifically for the signing.
Oh, sure.
And I came across,
There's a little box on the black plastic shelves, like to the right of where the vacuum cleaners are,
yeah,
that has some signed 8 billion G.
yeah. And I went looking for those and I couldn't find them.
Yeah, that's where they're.
No, I looked on those shelves.
So the last time I saw them, they were in just one of the, like a little half box that had them in there.
That is, you're asking for is entirely the reason I went back looking for stuff.
Because they weren't in the back hallway.
When I couldn't find them in the back, I went into the hallway.
Yeah, they're in.
But I specifically went looking through those, and that made me start cleaning up and looking at boxes of, God, why do we have these? We're never going to sell these. What is this box for? Why is this? And then I'm like, what is this box? Oh no, this is a subscriber box that we have in the back room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was deliberately looking for those and could not find them.
Yeah, the last time I remember seeing them, they were in a half box on like the black plastic shelves underneath, like where you'd put the boxes to be mailed out that haven't been paid for yet.
I will look again.
Sure.
But I did go looking.
There were only like a handful of copies. It was like
less
than 5.
Sure. But it would be nice to have for tomorrow. However, we have way too many things for tomorrow.
I don't know that I mean, there's definitely stuff that I assume will not be sold tomorrow and that we will have for the coming weeks. And I'm okay with that because it's a chance to get that stuff signed by 2 or 3 creators.
Sure.
And then have that for, online sales for.
But we went curating today like, oh, here's all of Charles' Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah. The stuff I was setting aside was just Charles and Ryan stuff.
Right. But I mean, why not?
I guess.
Why not?
I mean, I guess for me, like the why not would be like, I really want to focus people's attention and money on 8 billion genies, curse words, lucky devils, GHA.
And I want to focus their money on spending it. But anyway, I found a box on the bottom that had cleaning supplies from Blue.
Still good.
Oh yeah, a bottle of Windex.
Okay. Does Windex go bad? Does it ever separate?
A whole bottle of Goo Gone.
Perfect.
Hand lotion.
Probably maybe not good anymore.
It's younger than the hand lotion we have behind the counter.
Oh, okay. It's weird.
Well, now it's not because it is the one we have behind the counter.
Okay.
A bag of cough drops, 2 square boxes of Kleenex, 1 opened, 1 closed.
Okay, great.
A 3-hole punch.
Great.
What else? A roll of blue electrical tape.
Sure.
A folded up Chicago flag.
Okay, great.
Yeah, just it's like, oh, weird. This is all out here and down on the bottom and just randomly.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been when we were evacuating Blue. We just kind of took it and put it in a box and said, here you go, down here.
Sure.
Didn't think about it after that.
I found other GAJ stuff, but I didn't grab it out. But also, I found that we don't have on the website any 3D cowboys.
On the website, really?
We do now.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm surprised.
I thought we would as well, but I couldn't. I mean,
I'll dig around and see if maybe there's a duplicate listing somewhere.
I searched a bunch of different ways to do it.
Sure.
And couldn't find anything.
That's interesting.
So now there's a bunch of those priced and put up.
Cool.
Because I figured we'll have them for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought they were because I thought I'd put that in the Charles Ryan category. Let me take a look.
It is in the Charles Ryan category now because I just put it in
I mean on the...
in the collection.
Okay. It wasn't in there before?
Well, why don't you pull it up and double check?
Sure.
That's the benefit of you being able to use your phone to do things like this.
For sure.
We can...
3D Cowboys, Cosmic... Oh, I thought you were talking about the hardcover.
No.
You meant the 3D Cowboy Cosmic Challenge. Okay, yeah, no, those were definitely...
Cosmic Convict Challenge-ers.
Yes, I know. Those definitely were not on the go cart. No, I didn't want to look at that. Those were not on the website because I didn't realize we had any more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some that are out now. We'll figure out where to put them.
That's great. They can go to the local section because the local section got cleaned out.
Yeah, a friend of Max Bear's came in today.
Uh-huh.
We grabbed 2 of his books.
Okay, cool.
Sonny, I forget their last name, but we've got 2 of their books.
Mm-hmm.
One is about a monster that comes out of people's toilets and attacks kids, and a bunch of kids that don't believe it and go searching for it.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, the signing is over by the time anybody hears this.
Yeah, you missed it. Hopefully there's some stuff that's on the website that you can check out.
I think there'll be a bunch of signed stuff.
I think so.
It depends on how much time they're willing to spend signing everything.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because we bought a lot. And bought it. We'll have it until it sells.
Yep.
Did you see that amazing email that we got today from somebody asking questions about the signing, but also
giving you some advice about local culinary treats?
Yes.
I did.
So it turns out there is, in fact, and if you didn't listen to me on off panel, you're not going to understand these references. A spice bag is available in Chicago. It's different. It's fried chicken, not grilled chicken. And it has banana peppers and chilies in it,
Okay.
which is not part of the Irish one.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, in fact, the original spice bag is what it's called.
Oh.
And it's run by an Irish person.
Cool.
And I sent a screen cap of the description and the photo to Bruno Bautista from Big Bang Comics,
Deacon
the
Bautista.
purveyor of not the purveyor, but the person who's like, you got to have these spice bags.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, that's legit. Get it.
Okay, great.
I mean, I was going to anyway.
Right.
Just not tonight.
No.
But it's on the list. And it is Big Pops, I think it's called, is the name of the place. It's 3 miles away from us.
Great.
Us being challengers.
Right, the store. Understood.
So that'll have to be acquired at some point. But the question remains, is the spice bag so delicious because you are drunk?
Well, the good news is if you start having some and it's not delicious, you can start drinking.
It's true. And also, it's spicy enough that you need to drink something as you're going along.
There you go.
Enough talk about spice bags. This isn't a spice bag podcast yet. So we've mentioned a few challengers rules, things not being repeatable.
Yes. I don't know about rules, but just
I mean,
curses. The curses.
So,
Challengers.
another one came true today, and it's two different ones. Number one, the first really good weather day of the year and the first snow day of the year are terrible business days.
Yeah.
So today it snowed, not even a lot of snow, just a little bit of snow. Like the roads are fine. Side streets, a little slick.
Yeah.
But the main roads, fine.
Yeah, this wasn't like a blizzard where it's like 2 feet
Right.
of snow and
Yeah.
the city shut down.
And believe me, a lot of other places in the country,
Got it way worse.
yeah, and ones that aren't on fire, got a lot of snow.
Yep.
I wouldn't even call this accumulated snow.
Right.
Business was horrible today. I don't mean bad.
Horrible.
I mean horrible.
Horrible.
And that brings us to,
Because I saw the total and I'm like, that's not a great total. And then I'm like, oh wait, a lot of that was on one sales.
yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
Oh no.
So that brings us to adage number 2 for the day.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but whenever we have something planned that could be a higher than normal sales day, we don't get to keep it as a benefit. It has to make up for something that was terrible.
Correct.
So we need tomorrow's Lucky Devils event to be great so our whole week isn't garbage.
Yeah, that's a thing we run into frequently with like Free Comic Book Day, where it's like, it's Free Comic Book Day isn't a huge bonus. It's the thing that is making up for last week being garbage, or the February sale is great, but it also makes up for a terrible January or whatever. Like it's nice that those things happen, that we can count on specific things being like, oh, this can help make up for it, instead of just being a huge loss. But yeah, it would be nice sometimes if like all this extra effort and energy went into something that was a bonus.
Oh yeah, above and beyond, not just hopefully breaking even.
Yeah.
Not just having an average week.
Yeah, killing yourself on Saturday so that Friday is not horrible.
Yeah. Man, was it rough today.
I could tell.
I hesitate to even say this based off of conversations we had earlier today, of which there were many.
There were a few.
Gina and I today were incredibly busy with tasks.
Yeah.
We had a lot of stuff that had to get done, or things I wanted to get done, or things I needed to get done.
Sure.
That may have been derailed if I'd stopped to help everybody who could have potentially come in.
If it had been a busier sales day.
Which, let's face it, that is always preferable.
Sure.
Keith Murray said, well, I hope you guys keep having a nice, relaxing day. Well, I guess you don't want that, do you?
No.
No, we don't. But like,
I relax at home. I don't want to relax at work.
Yeah.
Relaxing at work is bad.
But a lot of those quote unquote tasks. I don't know why I said quote unquote. They're like
Sure.
a
They're
lot
actual
of things that need
things
to
you
be
worked on.
done were all things that kind of arose during the day.
Sure.
A lot of customer email inquiries.
Mhm.
A lot of not just like, oh, can you do this? But then each one is like multiple steps.
Right.
And, some things that were not done from yesterday.
Mhm.
And it's always a game I play with myself on Fridays is like, at what point can I get to the Friday tasks?
Sure.
Like, at what point can I do the things that I want to do regularly on Fridays?
Yeah.
And I think I started doing the FOC social media posting at like 4:30.
Ooh, it's pretty late in the day.
Like, and I'd done all the online banking earlier, but much later than normal.
Mhm.
I had missed an online sale I didn't know when it came in. It's like, oh, it was on the register screen. I'm like, oh, it says there's an order. Let's check that out. Because I was nowhere near the computer to check my email.
Sure.
And it's a lot like I was talking to David Harper about, just like all the little things that need to get done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I didn't need to find that box full of cleaning supplies from Blue,
Mhm.
but I found it, while I was doing other stuff.
Sure.
And finding it and talking about it, talking about it on this episode took up way more time than dealing with it did.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh, put this with the cleaning supplies, put this with the tape, we're done.
Right.
But it's just like, look at this, we still have this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Gina had said, wow, we were really busy without being busy.
Yes. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. But like dumb things like, hey, I want you to take all the Christmas cards that still exist out of the envelopes so we can reuse the envelopes.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Like, so, Gina did that.
Right.
We will be depicking them at a later point.
Sure.
Because those pics are still good.
Sure.
Not a task you think is a regular occurrence in running a comic store,
No.
but it's a thing.
Gotta be done.
Yeah. Dealing with a bunch of not erroneous, but extraneous is what I wanted, bags.
Yeah.
Having extra books. Those books we got from Mike, we had both of them in the system
Oh, interesting.
as soft covers.
No. I guess maybe the ones that he got were hardcovers.
Yeah.
That you could only get through the way he got them.
Yeah. So one soft cover we still had, so I created the hardcover as a separate thing.
Mhm.
The other one we only ever had as a special order for Sam.
Uh-huh.
So I just converted its listing to the hardcover.
Perfect.
But even that is like, all right, well, this needs to be done.
Yep.
And these need to be put on this person's account.
Yep.
And just tiny things that don't take up much time, but build up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Jeannie even said, she's like, wow, this day went really fast. Because
you're working the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That helps.
And it's the kind of thing where I'm like, man, I really wish I had time to dust the shelves. The shelves totally need dusting.
Sure.
But I did dust the backs of the bookshelves in Sidekicks. Because when
Okay.
I was moving everything around, I'm like, oh, I have access to all the backs now.
Sure.
Here's all this dust. That's just a little slice of life, a little
How
thing of
nice.
life of.
How nice.
Something that's annoying me greatly is I read a advanced PDF of a book this week,
Mhm.
and I said, man, this was really good. Can't wait to talk to people about it.
Mhm.
I have no idea what it was.
Was it One World Under Doom?
No, is that up?
Yep.
Oh, man. Did you read it?
I did. Of
Was it
course I
good?
did. Yes. It's good. Yeah. It's good in a way that is kind of difficult to promote because basically describing it is sort of just the plot of the issue. I'm going to go ahead and say there's not any massive, huge twists in the first issue. There's not like Miracle Man shows up or
What?
like Dr. Doom is secretly Batman. Like it's nothing like that. It's just a good, really solid
I
Dr.
always
Doom
thought he was Lex
Fantastic
Luthor.
Four Marvel Universe story. The premise of the series is Dr. Doom became the Sorcerer Supreme, put a barrier up over Latveria, has been under that barrier for 6 months, and when the barrier drops, he takes over the world. All of the leaders of the Earth sign on to be vassals of Latveria. So the book opens with Dr. Doom basically addressing the world and saying, this is the new status quo. And it's great. It's all fantastic Ryan North, Dr. Doom dialogue, the
Yeah.
R.B. Silva art. The heroes of Earth immediately are like, we have to figure out what's going on here and how to solve it. And that's the issue. That's the first issue. It's just that. And it's just really well done. It's just good superhero storytelling.
Is it true that he renames a specific body of water the Gulf of Latveria?
He does not, thankfully. He's more humble than that and less deranged. It's a really good first issue, though, and it looks like it'll be a fun series. I don't know that it necessarily makes me excited to read a lot of the tie-ins and miniseries that are spinning off of this.
Honestly, what crossover ever does?
No, but that's the hope always, is that an idea will be so strong that you're like, holy shit, I gotta read like all these different 3-issue miniseries to see how this one idea spills out into all these other things. But it's like, I don't need to see X Factor fight Doctor Doom or whatever. I don't care.
Sure.
But the main book is great. If you're reading any Marvel stuff, I think it's going to be good. If you have not read Marvel stuff in a while, I think it jumps you in pretty easily to what the concept of the book is.
Did we autocopy FF readers over?
Nope. People can add it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. I would only do that if it were replacing Fantastic Four for however many months. Despite how much stuff we copy over in a monthly basis, I really dislike doing it to a high number. Like, I don't like doing stuff where I know other stores did it where it's like, oh, you're getting Batman? Now you're getting Absolute Batman. Like,
sure.
Absolutely not. That is something that people can decide on their own whether they want to sign up for it or not. And certainly, like, I would expect people who are reading Fantastic Four to want One World Under Doom, and I would definitely pitch them on it if they're not already getting it. But just being like, oh no, you're also getting the second series for the next 6 to 9 months. I'd be like, that's a lot. That is a lot for you to not be into. And this is getting into a thing that I never want to make feature requests on the Contest Challengers podcast for Managed Comics things. One thing that I desperately miss from Comic Suite is the ability to easily email in the system people who are down for specific series. One thing we used to do every month when we were doing Comic Suite is that we would pick like a couple things each week and do targeted emails. So if you were getting Fantastic Four, we would send you an email saying, hey, you're not down for One World Under Doom. You may want to add it to your list because it is going to be hugely important to the Fantastic Four stuff, and it's going to be Fantastic Four tie-in issues for the duration of the series. You may want to do this. And we usually would get a really good response on that because instead of just a blanket FOC email where it's like, here's 8 cool things that may or may not be relevant to your interests, this is specifically saying, we know you read book A, you should check out and subscribe to book B. But there's really, with Shopify and Managed Comics right now, there's really no good way to do that. You can get a list of who's down for a book in Managed Comics, but then doing an email for it in Shopify is impossible because you can't easily check off names on a list and say, okay, these 15 people are getting it. Shopify eliminated that possibility when they redesigned everything into segments, and now it is useless. Like trying to email a handful of people in Shopify is absolutely impossible. Cannot be done. You would have to, like, if you, let's say you wanted to email everyone who got Fantastic Four to say, go read One World Under Doom. You would have to first print out a list from Managed Comics of everybody who's down for Fantastic Four. Then you'd need to go into Managed Comics and get a list of everyone who's getting One World Under Doom and then cross them off your Fantastic Four list because a bunch of people probably just would add it regardless. They don't need you to tell them. Then you'd have to take the list of the people who are not down for One World Under Doom, who are down for Fantastic Four, and then individually add a tag to them that's just like FF, something super basic. Then you'd have to create a segment for everyone who has the tag FF and say, okay, now I want to write an email that goes out to these people. And then you'd have to write that email in the email function of Shopify. Then it would send it out to those people. And then you'd have to go back in and delete that stupid FF tag because you're never going to need it again. This is far too much work to ever do on a regular basis, notifying subscribers. And it fucking kills me that it cannot be done. That there is no basic way to just select a bunch of people. So not that I want to give Brian more things to do, but it would be so great if in Managed Comics we could just go to the list of Fantastic Four people. There's check boxes on the side. Check, email. And then we write up a quick email that says like, hey, you're down for this book. you should check out this other book. Maybe we can even put a link in to where the Managed Comics page is on our website for that item, and then people can just click that link, and then boop, they're adding it to their list. We're done. And we can just throw those together when we think of it during the day, instead of having to spend what I just described as probably an hour's worth of time trying to do all that shit. Because honestly, sometimes when you do these, you're lucky and you get, a good response. People open the emails, they sign up for the book. But there's a lot of times that we would do those pre-managed comics and like 2 people would do it. And it's like, I don't want to spend an hour's worth of time to get 2 people to sign up for a book that they would probably just sign up for the week it came out anyway.
Sounds like it's just easier to copy and paste emails.
But you mean like copy people over to new books?
No. Just write an email in Gmail and go to an account, copy an email address, paste it in BCC.
I mean, it probably would. And that would be its own special nightmare because 22 people are down for Fantastic Four. They're not already down for One World Under Doom. Cool. You have to go into 22 different accounts on Shopify. Say you're going to write an email, copy and paste in the body of the email, change the subject heading because that's got to be different too. And then send it out, and then do that 21 more times.
No. Just in Gmail, have one email.
Right.
And just copy the email addresses and paste it into the blind carbon copy field in Gmail.
And then you'd have to go to 21 different times to different people's accounts to copy and paste their emails.
Right. Yeah.
Which would suck.
Sure. But it sounds like it's the fastest way of all of these.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting we do it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but...
No, I mean, there's like 5 different ways to do it. The problem is they're all a hideous waste of time.
Yeah.
They are all way too convoluted when there was a way to do it. I mean, obviously, before there was a way to do it in comics where you could just click, you're done. With Shopify, there was a way to do it until they specifically got rid of all that functionality to create something that is so compromised and so useless for us, and probably super useful for people who are, designing their own merchandise and selling 12 things on their website. But when it's like, I got subscribers, man, I got hundreds of people that shop in my store. Like, I don't need
look at you bragging over there.
All of the like abandoned cart emails. Like, that's not how people use our website or our store. Like, God damn it.
I personally hate abandoned cart emails.
For sure.
I mean, usually I delete my carts when I'm leaving somewhere. Sometimes
it's never worked on me. I've never ever gotten an abandoned cart email and been like, oh no, I did want to buy that. It's always like, no, I know. It was abandoned for a reason.
So I got a cell phone call today, which is from just a random number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to answer this one. I'm like, hello. Click call center noises. Okay, I can hear a call center. What do you want? Hello? Automated computer response.
Terrific.
I'm like, oh, this is great. And then a human being says, hi, what's your name, please? I'm like,
you called me.
Why don't you tell me? You called me. Is this your job, just to waste my time asking stupid questions? Is that all? Hello? Okay, they hung up.
Terrific.
I took a chance to answer one just to see, like, who even is this? What do you want? What do you want? I mean, I just want to start answering and just screaming profanity.
I know, you've done it before.
Like, I have, and it's really cathartic. And I felt really bad to that priest who was just calling for donations.
Well,
no. As I started saying, and I felt really bad, I'm like, what's it going to be? Is it going to be my mom? Is it going to? No, it's a priest.
It's a priest.
Okay.
That's what we came up with.
Yep. That was the first thing. First choice after mom. After dead mom. Mom, is that you?
But yeah, I would absolutely love a way to do more targeted emails to subscribers. To do, again, like the FOC emails are great, and I think they're useful, and I think people do respond to them, and the more people who use them start using them all the time. But I'd love to do stuff that's more specific to people's tastes. I think that's a great way to kind of differentiate ourselves from a lot of stores that are just, again, like doing mass emails. To do stuff that is more, hey, you read this Tom King book. Here's this other Tom King book that's coming out.
Sure.
But it's way too time consuming to do it right now. Just the systems don't work right.
I wanted to ask, without you vocalizing it, do you have a number in your head for One World Under Doom, not counting subscribers?
Like what I would order for the shelf?
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a number in mind.
Okay. Can you mime it to me? Oh, wow. That's significantly lower than I thought it would be.
We'll see. I mean, I'm also assuming that subscriber numbers are going to be higher.
Okay. So that's not your total number. That's
for the shelf.
Okay.
That was specifically for the shelf.
Gotcha.
Which I don't think is a huge number for the shelf. I think it's a high number, but it's not an insane number.
Well, I don't know what, I mean, we did have a bunch of people, specifically today, the big books that people signed up for were One World Under Doom and Red Hulk.
Yeah, which were, I think, on the FOC email.
Yeah. And also our social posting. Don't forget those now. Don't forget those.
That's true. Speaking of Red Hulk, I think you had approved at least one Red Hulk foil cover without changing the price.
Did I?
Yeah.
Man.
I saw it because it was on a new subscribers thing, and I'm like, oh, what are they down for? Oh, they're down for Red Hulk foil cover.
Oh, wait.
Not the right
Okay.
price.
No, foil cover versus previous exclusive cover.
No, you got the previous exclusive one.
Yeah.
The foil one you didn't.
Yeah. And did you go and change that? Yeah, okay. It's funny you say that because it's a brand new subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
And
The only reason why I saw it.
I noticed it when I looked at it. I pulled up their account. I'm like, oh, that foil cover's priced correctly. Oh, okay.
Nope.
Good, because I missed that. Yeah, it's very frustrating. And I know it's not Managed Comics' fault at all. But when we know a book is a net price, like a foil cover, or now that Previews is doing a bunch of their own Marvel exclusive covers, they're treating it like a store would do it.
Yeah.
And what is normally the cover price is now the net price.
Yeah, not to make this a whole Managed Comics podcast, but while we're on the topic of it, the thing I would kind of like is if net priced items or please inquire items or whatever you want to call it, if those were in a separate approval section than the normal subscriber pre-order stuff, like specifically as separate sections, because it's like, hey, the number that Managed Comics came up with is not the number that you're going to want to charge, so they shouldn't even be in the section that you could just blindly approve. Additionally, and this has come up a couple times, mostly with Dynamite stuff, where it happened again recently where somebody had signed up for like a Red Sonja variant or a Thundercats variant or something. And it was the like virgin foil cover or whatever that was like $50. And it wasn't a net cost item. It's just, it was like $50. And it was just in as the 6th cover. And the heading for all the covers is $3.99 or $4.99 or whatever the main cover price is. And so somebody had signed up for that. And then when I went to prove it, I'm like, are you sure you want this one? This one's $50. And they went, no. And please, thank you for catching that. So like if individual items could have prices rather than the issue having a price, I think that would be helpful on the consumer side of things.
I wonder if that's a thing that will change with the comment standard.
Maybe.
Which is apparently close. Both Lunar and PRH are extremely close to adapting it.
That's great.
And
adopting it.
No, they're adapting it to the way they want to use it.
They're close to that? It's too bad.
And I guess Diamond was close before all of this stuff happened.
Diamond's got a lot on their plate right now.
Yeah.
Diamond had to close their Olive Branch only remaining warehouse today because of inclement weather.
I am slightly optimistic that we get next week's Diamond books on time, which would be annoying because I did not put any of them in the email because we were putting this week's in that week's.
At this point with Diamond, I don't know or care when they're going to get back on track.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
It's fine.
Sure.
I feel terrible for the stores that are dealing with it as the bulk of their product, but since it's a slim minority of our product, I don't care. It would be like if one book was completely shorted. It's like, well, it's one book. We'll get it eventually. We'll get those Sacrificer someday.
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Once again, The Damned did not come from Lunar today.
Yep. There was another book, it was like Vendetta or something, where it was on the list every week for like 4 weeks and then it just vanished. It never came out. We never got it. It's like, okay.
What's In the Garden of Earthly Delights?
Was that another one that was not in the boxes?
I mean, that's just one that's been on the list recently.
Absolutely, yeah.
War on Gaza is finally this week.
Oh, great.
I mean, the shelf copies.
Right. I think there's one remaining subscriber copy in there too.
Yeah.
But somebody who had added it after FOC.
Yeah, sure. It's such a time of catch up. Like we're all focusing on Diamond's issues, but everybody has their own.
For sure.
They had gotten yesterday, Thursday, a single Diamond package with a single trade for next week, and it was damaged.
Perfect.
So
yeah, and that's an additional problem with Diamond is that I don't know if it's because of their rampant staffing up or a warehouse that's dealing with new product that usually only used to deal with restock product, or the holidays or late shipments coming in, or I don't know what it is. But even like the weekly deliveries of new product, not only they're running late, they're also packed terribly.
And
Like,
so weirdly,
Stuff isn't like comics are coming in really iffy quality for us. There's stores that are more stringent about the quality of their books, and I'm sure they are seeing a lot of unsellable product. I'm just seeing stuff where it's like, man, this is okay, but it's not great. And it's stuff that used to be like, just because it's packed ridiculously, they're just throwing things in a weird way. Like there was stuff where comics, instead of laying flat or being packed flat in a normal comic box, were in a much bigger box with other stuff, and they were kind of like shoved up along the side. And it's like, you know better than that, Diamond. Like, this is basic your job stuff that you've been doing for decades. And suddenly it's like, even that part is not working right.
yeah, but they did say they had to hire a bunch of new people
They
just to
did.
try to quell the workload.
I will never
and
forget.
they're just not trained.
I will never forget visiting that Olive Branch headquarters on the Comics Pro tour, and them having to talk about the problem with staffing is that while they're in an area with a lot of warehouses, which means hiring on people is not terribly difficult, the problem is comics need to be packed in such a specific, careful way that no one's used to that. These are employees who are used to packing car parts, where it's like you just shove them in the box and send them out the door, and who cares? It's a car part. It'll be fine. And this is like, no, you have to be very careful with how you pack these things, and you have to stack them in a very specific way, because if you don't, you are destroying everything in the box. If you just stack them incorrectly, you have rendered that whole box worthless.
Well, remember the computer would say, here's what's going to go in this box and here's how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would tell you
It needed to.
the appropriate way to do it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they're not using those for what's being packed now.
It seems like probably not.
Thank you to Walt from Walt's Comics Shop for sending over some helpful advice.
Yeah, it was a formula on how we could probably take the list we have of all the different comics that sold in 2024 and reorganize them so we could get a better idea of how much individual issues sold rather than individual covers. I have not played around with it yet. It's been a busy day, and I hope to soon. So I thanked Walt already for that. And yeah, I hope to see some positive benefits from it.
That's one of the things that has been helpful about this podcast is when other retailers have a solution for us for one of our things.
Yeah.
Something we hadn't thought of.
It's interesting to crowdsource that stuff. And hopefully some of the stuff that we've offered people through discussion has been beneficial for them.
And I like for the most part that it's not even us saying like, we don't know how to do this. It's somebody saying, hey, you're talking about this. Here's what I do.
Right.
It's been helpful. And it's also just gratifying that people are listening.
Yeah, that's nice.
Last Monday, when I was pitching the fact that not only was there a new episode of Contest of Challengers out, that I was also on Off Panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I had called it, I think, the Double Challengers Podcast Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was promoting our episode, David Harper responded with, you're on episode 718? Because he's only in the 400s?
Sure.
He's like, really?
Really?
I'm like, yeah. But there's two other podcasts that I could name by Chicago podcasters who are well above what we're at.
That's true.
And if you added up all of Colt Cabana's podcasts, I think he beats us, but because he would do different themes.
Sure.
Different numbering as well. But see, whenever it just feels like we're just doing it, people respond in positive ways.
It's nice.
Man, I'm trying to remember what that book was. It was an independent book.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if it was an email the creator sent or if it was a publisher sent, but it was like a one-off, like, hey, read this. And I really liked it. And I forgot what it was.
I guess people should just sign up for everything.
That's
got to
fair.
be one of them.
That makes sense. I think that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Starting now. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.